So to start the conversation out, I want to go into a little bit of an intro or background of DAC7. What is it? Why does it exist? Who does it affect? Where did it come from? And when does that come into effect?
Okay, so what is DAC7? Let's lay the land. What is it? Why do we have it? Who does it affect? Where, when, all of this. Most of us know what it's like to have a job where at the end of the year, that job gives you a wage report. In the United States, we call it a W-2. It's called something else in other countries. But a copy of that is given to the tax authorities, and a copy of it is given to the employee. What does this do? It allows taxpayers like me and you to know how to calculate and pay our taxes, so we don't have to add up all of our paychecks during the year. But it also gives that information to the tax authorities who can use it to enforce tax compliance. This is very well established and advanced tax transparency, tax reporting that exists in most of the world. But what is less advanced is what we could call gig worker tax reporting. So when you're not an employee, you're usually an independent contractor, self-employed, but you're not an employee, and you might be doing what we could call gig working, where you pick up lots of different jobs from different platforms or projects. But the tax reporting function for gig working is less reliable, less consistent in terms of how governments have designed and implemented it. The US has quite advanced tax reporting. We call this 1099 reporting. If you've heard of a 1099 miscellaneous or 1099 NEC, the US has this, but other countries don't. So the EU version of what we'll call gig working tax reporting is the DAC7. What is this and why do we need to do it? Okay, so the DAC7 does three things. It creates annual reporting mechanism for local governments to receive tax information about gig workers, taxpayers, and enforce tax compliance. It secondly gives that tax information to the gig worker, the taxpayer, to allow them to more easily comply with their tax obligations. But the third thing that it does, which is really important, is enables cross-border international exchange of that tax data between governments that make agreements with each other to share this information so that they can monitor cross-border tax evasion. So that's what DAC7 does. That's its objectives. The requirements are then imposed on platforms, a place where buyers and sellers of things are matched. The platform is the one that needs to comply with these reporting mechanisms and obligations. When is the DAC7 effective? It is effective as of January 1st, 2023, with the first reporting by the platforms by January 31st, 2024.